Yo guys, what's up? Two Wheel Turban, and today I have a video for you guys talking about how I got into motorcycling and kind of how motorcycles came into my life and how I got introduced to it, because I know a lot of people, when I tell them they ride motorcycles, a lot of people are against riding motorcycles, and I think it's just the way they were introduced to them, and I think that's a big key in whether you believe in motorcycling or not. So today I'm going to tell you how I got into it, kind of like where it started, and yeah guys, hope you like this video, and here we go. Okay, so first off, where did motorcycles come into my life? So when I was about 4 years old, my dad is the person who introduced me to motorcycles. And when I was 4, we were living in a different house, and we didn't have this huge yard where I could ride. We had a much smaller house in the backyard. Didn't have much space, but my dad bought me, I believe for my 4th birthday or sometime when I was 4, a Honda CRF 50, and that's a bike a lot of people start off when riding. And like I said, at the time when I was 4, riding was, whenever you start off, it's quite intimidating. And so I started off with like training wheels, I think, like that, and then eventually my dad took those off and I just kept riding just around that small amount of area. And so yeah, my dad's the one who really introduced me into it, and a lot of people, even family members, were probably against him, just because of the stereotype unfortunately motorcycling has. So yeah, when I was 4 years old, that's when I started riding. That's kind of how I got introduced to it, due to my dad and him riding prior to that. So I rode that bike for quite a while. I think I had that till I was like 10, which is pretty funny because that's such a small bike. And I think that bike would only do like 20 miles an hour or something like that. And then I moved up, I think when I was 10 or 11, I got a Yamaha TTR 110. And at the time, that bike felt crazy fast. And the reason why was because I was so used to that 50cc bike. So yeah, when I got that bike, we were already living over here. And I can just picture me riding, just flying around the yard. And I would always ride that bike. That was super fun. It's kind of cool to have a Yamaha now. It kind of brings back memories of what the bike looked like. So yeah, that TTR 110, that was my second bike. And I had that for I think 2 or 3 years. And I remember going to the motocross track with that, and not the actual, like, with the big jumps or anything, but like kind of the kids track. And I got some more experience there. And the riding just continued to happen in my life. I never raced like any motocross or anything like that, but on the weekends, I remember I went with a friend and we would do that a lot. So yeah, once I sold that bike, I believe I was like 13. Yeah, 13 sounds right, or 12 or 13. And the next bike was the Grom, the infamous Grom, as all of you guys probably know. The Grom is a pretty crazy bike. Everyone seems to love it. I don't think there's any way anyone cannot like that bike. That's one awesome bike. So yeah, I think 13 or 14 I got that bike, and right when we got it, it was the time right when they came out. So there was a huge demand for the bike, and I remember my dad ordered it, and I think it took a couple months until it actually came to the store. But I remember it was 8th grade, and I was getting out of school, and I got into the car with my mom, and my mom said, "Let's go pick it up." And wow, I was so happy. I was so excited because as a kid, I remember always had dreams of driving a bike like on the street and stuff like that. And I was like 13 or 14 at the time, getting the Grom, but it was still super exciting. And that's kind of where it switched from dirt to more concrete. And I remember in my driveway, just up and down, up and down. We kind of have a long driveway, and every day after school, just ride up and down, do 20 miles, literally 20 miles in the driveway. That's how much I love to ride. So then we sold the Grom. No, actually we kept the Grom, and then for Christmas one year, my dad got the CBR 250 for me. And that CBR now, it's with a friend. It was a CBR 250R in the Repsol edition. And wow, that bike was just amazing to me. The colors made it seem like it was a race bike, and it really was an awesome bike. I think I was like 14 or 15 when I got that, and that bike was huge to me at the time. I think I was like 5'4". You know, I was only like 14 years old, I think, 5'5", something like that. And I remember just riding that up and down the driveway and just not being able to wait until I could ride actually on the street. So I had that bike for a little bit, had some crazy adventures on that. Did a lot of stuff with that bike, had a lot of good memories that I'll never forget, I don't think. Great times with that bike. I can remember the first time kind of like going out on the street with the group ride with, you know, Upbeat Yamaha, some other friends, and that was just one crazy experience. I remember doing like breaking 90 miles an hour for the first time, and wow, that is one crazy feeling for the first time. So yeah, had that bike for a little bit, and then I love the bike, but I started to want to learn how to wheelie, and I did a little bit with the CBR, but it was quite discouraging because that bike was really underpowered, and just the way the weight's distributed wasn't ideal for wheelies. So then here we are with the next bike, the Yamaha WR250R. And I got this bike February 6th of 2016, which is pretty much a year ago, and had some crazy times with this bike. And you guys have seen that on the channel, but so yeah, guys, that's kind of how I got into riding, kind of my past. If you guys have any stories how you got into riding, I'd love to hear them. It's really interesting to me. So yeah, guys, hope you like this video. Kind of different, but see you guys next time.